Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video, it's just something a little bit different to the norm, in that going to put together a team, but it's not going to be a Supercoach team specifically, but rather, I guess, the best NRL team, so I guess real life NRL. But with the caveat that we can only pick one player from each club. So there's currently 17 clubs in the competition. There's 17 spots on a team, so it sort of has a nice symmetry to it. And I guess just a bit of an insight into, some of my favourite players and the positions they play in. So as much as possible, we'll try to stick to real positions. I know some of the players get pushed out of place a bit in Supercoach, but I think we can pull this off. But I guess we'll start at fullback because it's a regular NRL team, so you always start with number one. And I guess, obviously, there's lots of great fullbacks, but the one that I would pick is Tom Trbojevic. And, there's definitely an argument for Kalen Ponga in the side. But I guess there's other players from Newcastle that I'd rather have in the team than other players from the Sea Eagles. So we can only pick one from each team. And on his day, I don't think there's anyone that can touch Tommy Turbo. So for that reason, he's in my one player per team. On the left wing is actually my Newcastle player, which is why I couldn't pick Ponga at fullback. But Greg Marzhew, we love him from Supercoach because of his ability to run and break tackles and score tries. And that's the reason why I'd have him in my team as well. He's just, such a damaging ball runner. The left centre position, and this is a bit of speculation because he hasn't actually fronted up there yet. But I'd go with, not Stephen Crichton. No, I was going to go with that. And then I did change my mind and I've forgotten who it was too. No, it's who it was. I remember it was someone that moved. And it's speculation, but I think this is a pretty strong shout. But Jack Whiten. So playing at South this year, moved from the Raiders. Obviously, with Cody Walker there, he's probably not going to play 5'8", but the talk is that he's going to play left centre. And I think out there he can be pretty damaging in attack. It's a slightly different defensive sort of strategy out there. But if he's up for it, I think he could be, one of the best left centres going around. At right centre, I'm just going to go straight to the best, and that would be, if I can find him, Joey Manu. So at the Roosters, he's probably really a fullback, but he's stuck behind Tedesco. But the fact that you can plug him in at right centre, you can plug him in at 5'8", you can plug him in at fullback, and he just does the job. So I think he's the best right centre in the game. So for that reason, he's a lock in my side and happy to forego the other Roosters players. On the right wing, I'm going to go with another, I guess, Supercoach sort of pick, but Jermaine Asako. So very similar story to Marzu. Obviously, scores a lot of Supercoach points through tries and goals. But the fact is that he's good enough to do it. So, I think that's a pretty handy back five, even though, we are missing out on some of the guns, but obviously, we need those clubs in other positions. In the 5'8" spot, again, there's probably a little bit of personal bias, but got my man Matt Burton. So, a lot of talk about, he should play in the centres, or, at the Bulldogs, he should play halfback because he's on the most money. But I think 5'8" is his position. It just gives him that flexibility to insert himself when he needs to rather than, sort of has to all the time. Things like his torpedo bomb is just that point of difference that gets him over the line, and I just rate him as a player. I was a massive fan of him when he got first signed to the Dogs. Still am, not so I'm not anymore, but Matt Burton's my pick at 5'8". I could have gone Crichton and Cody Walker, perhaps as like a difference that way, but I do like Matt Burton, so I sort of made a slight change to get him in the side. At halfback, I think this is probably the most obvious choice, or definitely one of the more obvious choices. But Nathan Cleary, best player in the game. Got to have him in your team if you can pick him. In the front row, so I guess the first one probably doesn't need too much introduction, but Payne Haas is the Brisbane Broncos representative in the side. Just an absolute machine. Like the amount that he runs and tackles and the minutes he plays, he's just unreal. And that's, I guess, what we want in the team. Quickly skip to hooker because that's, I guess, the number 9 spot. And Harry Grant, from the Melbourne Storm. Again, probably after Cleary, the next first picked or second picked is probably the actual word for it. But yeah, he's the best hooker in the game. We can get him in, so we slot him in. The other starting front rower, I'll go with Adam Fanua-Blake. Again, good super coach output, but that's just because of his ability to, break through the line, and he usually finds his way of breaking through the line at the try line so he can fall over and get a bit of meat, which is fantastic. Our second rowers, so on the left edge, again, a pretty obvious one, I think, but David Fafita. He's just without peer in the second row position, and particularly on that left edge that he played outside of foreign last year. It was a pretty devastating combination. So, get him outside of the likes of Matt Burton, Nathan Cleary, even if he drifts over the left, he could do all sorts. On the right edge, going with Britton Nikora from the Sharks. So, amazing hole runner, finds his way to the try line, super solid in defence as well. Part of that well-oiled machine there at the Sharks. So I think he's an excellent inclusion in this side. And the lock forward, I'm going with Jermaine Hopgood. So, um, just proved to be an absolute freak last year in terms of his work rate, his ability to offload and just, create havoc through the middle of the ruck. Um, yeah, attack and defence, he's just one of those players that you'd want in any team. Um, so, yeah, absolutely locking him in the side. On the bench, we're going to try and make it a more NRL style bench. So, Joey Tarpany from the Raiders, he offers a lot. Um, Obviously, he usually starts, but coming off the bench with his sort of energy and motor, I think would be pretty handy. Um, Also, if I can find him, Stefano Uda Ikamanu from the Tigers. So probably, I guess we're getting to the stage where we're running out of clubs to choose from, but I think a very handy prop to have coming on, doing some damage in the middle. Um, Sort of, I guess, as an edge player, I've sort of cheated a little bit here and gone with Ruben Cotter. So another big workhorse. So, there'd be no issues with players not being fit in this team because they can all play big minutes. But obviously, Cotter can play on the edge as well. Could play a bit of hooker too. That's how he sort of got his start. So, if Grant goes down, so pretty handy sort of utility type player. Um, and then I've almost managed to actually make this team into a super coach worthy team. Obviously, still have 8 bench spots after the 17, so this would not be eligible at all. But the final pick should be about here somewhere. And if you're playing along, you should know the club. But Jack Bird would be my last pick, just as that sort of utility, can play anywhere, out on the edge, in the middle, in the halves if need be. Um, so yeah, I can't quite get him on the screen because of the prices. But yeah, so that's the team that I'd put together. Just make sure I haven't doubled up on any clubs. I don't think so. It's always hard with the Rabbitohs and the Dolphins because their logos look so similar in Supercoach. But I think I've done okay there. But yeah, just something different, a bit more of a thought experiment than anything. Um, but yeah, interested to hear what you guys think. If you've got any thoughts on how your team would look if you could pick one player from each club, let me know in the comment section below. Obviously, if you're liking the NRL stuff or this, I guess, this slightly off kilter type of video, give us the thumbs up, the like. subscribe for all the fantasy content. We've got, more NRL stuff coming. The BBL season, NFL season's all wrapping up. NBL's still going for a few more weeks as well, I believe. Um, EPL, of course, can't forget that. But other than that, thanks for always watching and catching the next one.